Today in our 2015 Subaru Legacy, we're going to take a look at and also show you how to install the Curt Custom Fit Class 2 Trailer Hitch Receiver. Offering the 1¼ by 1¼ opening, its part number is C12290. Here's what our hitch is going to look like installed on your vehicle. As you can see, we've got that round cross tube all the way across the rear of the vehicle here. It's going to meet at our receiver tube opening. This is an 1¼ by 1¼ Class 2 hitch, so it's going to be very versatile for your cargo carriers, for your bike racks, and light duty towing needs. Now you'll see the end of the receiver tube opening and has that nice flush reinforcement collar on it, and that's going to be about even with the outside edge of our bumper here, so we won't have to worry about bumping into it. We've got a 1/2 inch diameter pinhole. It's located there. That's the pinhole we're going to use to secure all of our items with. We're going to be sure to use Class 2 rated accessories, but you'll notice it looks like plenty of room around there, whether you want to use a standard just hitch pin and clip, maybe a locking hitch pin, or even anti-rattle device. We have plate style safety chain connection points here. Nice large opening, shouldn't have any issues getting chains connected that you might need. Now our hitch is going to offer a 350-pound tongue weight rating. That's the maximum downward force we can put here at our receiver tube opening. And it gives us a 3,500-pound gross trailer weight rating. That would be the total weight of our trailer and anything that we were to load up on it. Of course, we do want to check the owner's manual on the Legacy to see what its tow rating is, and we'll use whichever of those numbers on the lowest. Also, something to keep in mind is anytime you're going to be hauling a non-wheeled load, so anything other than a trailer, Curt does require the use of a stabilization strap that is available on our website. Now, a couple measurements that are going to be helpful for selecting ball mounts, bike racks, and even hitch cargo carriers will be from the ground to the inside top edge of a receiver tube opening. We're going to have about 10 inches. Then from the center of the hitch pinhole to the outermost edge of our bumper, it's going to be about 2. We would recommend the use of products with a raised shank just to help promote better ground clearance for you. Now, to begin our installation, we're going to need to lower our exhaust on the back of the Legacy here. We've got 3 hangers that we'll remove to do that. One's going to be just inside of the rear bumper cover, be located right here. Now if we go caddy corner to that, to the opposite side of our exhaust, we'll have our second one. And then if we follow our exhaust forward, once we get in front of the rear differential here, we'll have the third. Now before we do take those hangers down, it's a good idea to put a strap right underneath the exhaust here, just to give it some support when we remove those to let it rest on it. You'll then want to use a little bit of spray lubricant on each of the insulators. Just kind of helps them slide off a little easier. And then a large screwdriver or a pry bar, usually going to be the most effective strategy if you don't have an exhaust hanger removal tool. You just kind of push out from the back until it pops off just like that. Now if we feed a little slack into our strap, or if we loosen up our wire, that exhaust is going to come down. That'll allow us plenty of room to work. Now above the exhaust you'll have 1 if it's a single exhaust, 2 if it's a dual. We're going to have a heat shield. That's secured with 4 bolts. If you want a 10mm socket, we'll take those out and get that heat shield removed. And we'll set this aside so we can put it back in later. Now in our frame rail, this is the passenger side. We just came over here to get the exhaust kind of out of the way. You're going to see we've got 2 rubber plugs on the bottom here. We're going to be pulling these out. This hole will be enlarging to slide our hardware in. And this hole in the back, this is going to be our rear attachment point. Now the forward attachment point will be drilling in somewhere in this area. Now these plugs are going to be the exact same on both sides, so get them pulled out. Now here at that forward area where we remove that plug, we're going to be enlarging that. We need it to accommodate the spacer block here, so we can mark the width of that. And we're also going to need our bolt to slide up and through. So typically what I'm going to remove is going to be an area kind of like this. It's almost going to give the hole a mushroom shape, and sometimes you'll need to trim off this outside edge a little bit. Now to do this, you can use a file if you want. Might take you a little while. We recommend kind of more of a high-speed cutting wheel, or even a reciprocating saw, one of the little ones you could get in there and kind of trim that out with. Once we've got that enlarged, you just want to make sure that spacer block's going to pass through there. and also the head of your bolt. And it's a good idea to take a little bit of spray paint or a rubberized undercoating, and then just coat that bare metal really well and let it dry. Now we'll head over to the driver's side and we can repeat the same process for that forward hole. Now to get our hardware in place, we'll take one of our pull wires here. That's going to go in that rear location and then forward, and we want it to come out of our access hole there. Once that's come through, we want to take our spacer block, slide that up on, and then thread on our carriage bolt. Now we can feed our spacer block up into the frame, follow that up with our bolt, and bring it back and allow it to come right down through the hole. Just pull that off. And we'll head over to the other side and do the same thing. Now with the help of an extra set of hands, we can get our hitch raised up into position. Now as we do that, we don't want to push our hardware back up in the frame, and we'll start one of our 1/2-inch flange nuts right on it to hold it in position for us. And we'll go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Now with our hitch in place, that's going to leave us the mark here, the area, so we know where to drill our forward hole. We'll use a 17/32 bit and use our hitch as a template. And we'll head over to the other side and do the same thing. Now with our holes drilled out, we'll just repeat that fish wire process and get our rear hardware in place. We'll get our bolt pulled down in position, pull off our fish wire. Once that's in place, we're also going to thread a 1/2-inch flange nut on both sides there, and we'll be ready to get these snug down and torqued to the appropriate specifications. Once we have them snugged down, we need to check our instructions for our torque specifications. Then we'll go through and we can torque all of our hardware down appropriately. Now we can get our heat shield put back up into position. You do remember we cut that small area out and eliminated one of the holes, so we'll only be using 3 of our bolts, and we'll get those snug back down. Alright, now we can get that exhaust put back up. Now we want to put a little bit more spray lubricant on these hangers if they give us any trouble, but they should slide on there. And once the 3 of those are back in position, we'll be able to pull down our support strap and our hitch will be ready for use. With our exhaust back in place, that's going to complete our installation of the Curt Custom Fit Class 2 Trailer Hitch Receiver. Offering the 1¼ by 1¼ opening, its part number is C12290 on our 2015 Subaru Legacy. Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.